Another tragic story. This is a woman in Ohio. Ohio, abortion is illegal. She had a miscarriage at 22 weeks. The baby was not viable. It died. She had the miscarriage actually in the toilet. Her water had broke. She had been to the hospital twice. She was back home. She rushed to the bathroom, and boom, out came this it was dead before it came out, this dead fetus. And because she dropped it into the toilet, apparently, she's 33 years old, she has no criminal record. The good folks of Trumbull County are going to have a grand jury investigate whether they should prosecute her. Brilliant. Welcome to the brave new world. That's the bad news. The good news comes from Pennsylvania, from Central Bucks County School District, just north of Philadelphia. This is a school district that was taken over by the Moms for Liberty Ban the Books crowd. And Megan Budden's family was considering moving if their Pennsylvania school district didn't change course, writes Emily Rizzo at NPR. She normally isn't politically active, she said, but she felt compelled to volunteer when basically the school board in her neighborhood was taken over by right-wing crazies, some of whom didn't even have kids in the school, right? They were banning pride flags, they were banning books, they had directives not to use students' preferred names or pronouns. She said, I couldn't have my kid in a school district where these kind of things are happening. And so she and 4 other Democrats stepped up and ran for school board. And they won. 3 of them are going to replace Republicans. 2 will replace other Democrats who are retiring. And so the board has been flipped from majority Republican to majority Democrat. Republicans also lost control of school boards in Iowa, Virginia, and neighboring Central Bucks County, which is a very conservative district in Pennsylvania. This is the 3rd largest county school district in Pennsylvania. It's a politically mixed swing district. When she was asked about the situation, well, actually Democratic candidate Heather Reynolds said, I think the community's had enough. Parents are exhausted by the chaos that has become a normal part of monthly school board meetings. Paul Martino is a local venture capitalist, and he bankrolled the Republican campaigns and donated $239,000 of the $279,000 that the right-wing candidates had raised. On the other hand, the Democrats who were running spent a total of about $500,000, and the vast majority of it came in smaller donations between $50 and $250. In total, the Democrats raised $315,000 this way. So, we're seeing change step by step, and it's a good thing. I really think that this moral panic, we have this is a phrase that a lot of people are not familiar with, moral panic. And, the Salem witch burnings, or hangings actually, were moral panics. The McMartin preschool, if you remember the 80s, was a moral panic. And all the ones all around the country where there was all this panic around this satanic ritual abuse. Societies are vulnerable to this. This is a fairly common thing. In fact, you could argue that what Hitler did in Germany was create a moral panic around Jews. What Trump did around immigrants was create a moral panic. Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, they're coming, they're coming. They're going to ruin our society. They're going to destroy things. This is the essence of moral panics. And over the last couple of years, we saw this moral panic around school books that might have sex scenes in them or discuss sex. And I'm talking by, people like Kurt Vonnegut and Mark Twain. It's like, they just wanted to ban these things. Oh, they're just immoral, it's a classic moral panic. And the thing about moral panics is they typically don't last more than a couple of years. And I think that's what we're seeing right now. You've got these right-wing groups that are well-funded, in many cases by right-wing billionaires or by foundations aligned with right-wing billionaires. And, you know, they're trying to use our schools, our public schools, to indoctrinate our kids into right-wing ideology, into the belief that, you know, helping your neighbors, having things like food stamps or Social Security or Medicare is actually a bad thing to do for people because it makes them dependent on government, you know. But cutting taxes for billionaires or subsidizing the fossil fuel industry is $600 billion a year. That doesn't create dependency. Or letting children whose parents, you know, who did nothing at all to earn any money whatsoever inherit billions of dollars from their parents. That doesn't make them lazy. But if you give a poor person, you know, free food or some cash, that's a terrible thing, terrible thing. So anyhow, we're seeing this where we saw this moral panic around our schools, around critical race theory. Remember that? Around you know, this bizarre idea that kids were identifying as cats and they wanted kid litter boxes in the back of the classroom so that they could use them as toilets. I mean, it literally never happened. But it has been adopted and is believed by millions of Americans. Because this right-wing outrage machine, you know, the Fox News and all its imitators and all the print, you know, versions of it and everything else, you know, promoting this stuff like crazy. And around abortion as well. Thus this young woman who had a miscarriage is looking at going to prison for having a miscarriage because she couldn't make it to the hospital in time. I mean, this is just like really, really bad stuff.